All right, before we get started, I want to wish everybody out there happy May the 4th be with you. Of course, it is Star Wars Day, so today I am Luke W, and this is my brother, Worldwide Kenobi. But now, second round of the playoffs is starting, and that's another topic. But second round of the playoffs are here. They're off to a fast start, good start. If you ask me, in my opinion, John Golden, the Warriors and Memphis are going back and forth. Right. The Bucks and the Celtics are looking like the heavyweight fight right now. That was y'all bad. Miami looks invincible without Joel Embiid being on Philly. Luka's doing Luka, but Phoenix isn't going to let anybody else do what they want to do. I'm John W.
For shakes.
And this is the Hoopers and this is the Hoopers afternoon session. We finna get it together, y'all. But now, seriously, Milwaukee and Boston, heavyweight bout right there. Jaylen Brown finished the game with 30 last night, 6 for 10. Yep. Behind the 3-point line, they limited Giannis as much as you can limit Giannis.
Yeah, he started 1 for 10.
And this is just an ugly series in general. Like Jason Tatum didn't necessarily shoot good as well last night, but I think this is one of those series where you see the value of Jaylen Brown because he isn't necessarily the finesse player that Jason Tatum is. Like, same body style, but he'll go down post. He's a little more athletic. He's strong. He can shoot. Like I say, went 6 for 10 from 3-point line last night. He can shoot it, but he's the physical player he's the physical wing that Boston needs to win this series because it's going to be a physical series where the refs aren't going to be really calling fouls, as we can see in the first couple games. Yeah. They did great. Like I say, Boston was great defensively. I think they gave up 86 points. 86, yeah. And that's what Marcus Smart sitting out. And we've been saying for a couple months now that Boston might be the best defensive team in the NBA outside of maybe Miami or Phoenix, who looks great defensively as well. But to beat Boston, like I said, they've been in. I don't think people understand how valuable it is to have this young core who's still not 27 yet, outside of Al Horford and maybe Daniel Tice, maybe, I don't know, Derek White, I don't know. I don't think they have anybody over 27 outside of Al Horford, and have that valuable playoff experience that they've been building up over the years. This is one of those series that you can say they're mentally and physically ready for.
Yeah, you could definitely compare, especially being down Chris Middleton. So Jaylen Brown plays a key. I think they got a better balance this game. We talked about after the first game how they shot way too many threes. They just was relying on the jump shot.
Sure.
Not even just a jump shot. I think they shot 10 twos.
The first game, yeah, they made 10 twos.
They made 10 twos. They got to attack to the basket. Jaylen had a good shooting game. Like I said, you still haven't gotten a big game from Jason Tatum yet. But The main thing is Giannis gets, respectfully, he gets a pass on some of his offensive shortcomings when he plays really well because he plays hard. But games like yesterday just kind of shows where he's still a work in progress in a lot of parts, mainly the shooting part of this game.
Right.
And when the shot isn't falling, they got to like some real ISO heavy play where he just was like attacking the basket. Absolutely. Because the other stuff wasn't into play or whatever. But Boston, they continue to get physical with him, which I thought maybe they would try to switch it up. I guess we gotta have Marcus Smart. You gotta keep going that way. But they he said he won't play a physical game, so they just keep playing physical with him. And Grant Williams played a big role in Brooklyn out there, and he played a big role yesterday too, knocking down some shots for Boston or whatever. But Jaylen Brown was the key, I think. And but this, like you said, they have the experience. Boston is a rare team. You don't usually get these young players, young core that's been together, been to the conference finals. So now they are kind of just primed and ready to go to the finals or whatever.
Right.
Still got to get past the but if it's any time it is now, and they thought the last couple of years between some chemistry issues, trying to figure out the point guard situation, Jaylen Brown got hurt, so it was just Jason Tatum in the playoffs last year when they played Brooklyn. They had a good chance in the bubble to do some things, but Bam's block kind of killed all that momentum or whatever. But it's rare you see a team with young, up and coming players that already had so much playoff experience and like I said, conference finals experience to the point that they're kind of ready to get it done. So I knew that they would bounce back, and they came right out. Like, so I think it was a 9-1, 9-2, something like that to start the game. So they came out ready to play. So I think it's gonna be a back and forth thing like that. I think too. I hope he doesn't rush it, but I know watching the game, Chris Middleton is trying to get back for sure.
And I'm pretty sure that during the broadcast last night, that Baker said he was already ruled out for this series.
But well, he's not completely ruled out. Completely. That's just what people are reporting.
Okay.
Budenholzer says he's not completely ruled out. He could play, but they don't think he is going to play, whatever that means. So he isn't ruled out. He can play in this series. It won't be in the next game or the next game, but like it can game 7.
Because if you're both coaches, it's IMA and but you're expecting a long series because you expect this to be two teams. Right. These are two championship caliber teams.
Plays, though. I highly doubt he plays.
Yeah, MCL, like right, especially MCL, that's a quick turnaround to try to get him back. I understand.
He's what Rob Williams just did. So
that boy 22, he's still a freak athlete. That boy's 22, like he ready to go. Like time. I think I don't remember the full quote, but I think somebody asked him about somebody on the other staff asked him about his knee, and he was like, "What you mean?" Like that boy, he's still young. He's still like I don't think Robert Williams is in his NBA body yet. He's like came into the league a year after Jason Tatum. He's not even there yet.
He's just coming into himself for real. Finally got the full-time starting job and stuff like that. So you can see that. So.
And he's definitely going to be an important player in this series as well. Because, like I say, he's definitely a rim protector. Even, like, you know how I feel about short centers, but he definitely plays above the rim at all times on offense and on defense.
It works in this league, and he plays big. So.
No, yeah, he's played bigger than the type, definitely.
He's around the right short center to teach him the game. Al Horford. Yeah, Al Horford. Oh, yeah,
for sure. Yeah, so. Because Al Horford also was one of those players who played bigger than what he really was.
Right. Remember, he came out as a power forward, and everybody said he was playing the wrong position, so he actually had to play power forward. It was like, oh, no, you're a center.
He was in it now. But, you know, like I say, I think everybody expects this to be a long series. Who do you expect the physicality to weigh in on first? Like, we know Boston is a physical team, but on offense, they really are a jump shooting team. You pointed that out the other day on the radio show.
Yeah, Boston is more of a jump shooting team, and I just think they're going to try and get physical with them because that's just what they do. But if it's any team I still think won't be affected by it's the Bucks because you get physical with Giannis, Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez. You know what I mean? So these are tall, these are real big men or whatever. Sure. So getting physical with them, I think is going to be slightly different.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Who you think series going back to Milwaukee? Do you think Milwaukee can capitalize on, handling business at home and going away with, maybe going up 3-1 in this series, or do you think Boston will get the split?
No, it'd be 2-1.
Yeah, 2-1. My bad. Yeah, 2-1.
It'd be 2-1. But I think the key for Milwaukee, they always say role players play better at home, so I feel like Grayson Allen is gonna play well. Pat Connaughton is gonna play well. Bobby feeds off of the home court. We may get a Bobby Buckets game where he goes crazy. So I think if the Bucks role players play well, that's going to open some stuff up for Giannis, and Giannis can play in transition more. And then when everything is flowing, the Bucks are at their worst when they revert to that old offense they did a couple of years ago where Giannis is, because if Grant Williams started playing off of him so he could shoot the three. He's doing a good job still passing the ball, but they went through stretches where they went back to the old offense where he is just taking that three, which Giannis has improved everywhere in his game, but I would live with Giannis taking that three 100 out of 100 times, shoot it every time. Like if he make them. And between that and then him just, doing the downhill Euro stuff, he may get an and one, but it's just like really tough buckets. He can get easy buckets, so I think
and if you're Boston, that's what you like. He gonna score, but you want him to, if it's a tough bucket, right? Tough bucket, you don't mind.
Because at the end of the day, he did finish with 28 yesterday, but he took 27 shots. First game he had a triple double. I think he had 25, but he took 24 shots. So they making him work, but I feel like he got easier shots in game one because you had a little bit more. Drew gave him 20. I think Bobby gave him, some good amount of buckets. So I think you get that at home, and that's what the Bucks want at home. I feel like, and for the Celtics, you expect Jason Tatum, he's not going to shoot. We said about KD, you ain't expect him to keep shooting, man, or whatever. So I think Jason Tatum will have, with Boston, they're going to try and make it easier for him also. So he doesn't just have to shoot long jump shots, get him in the paint some more, facilitate some easy buckets or whatever. As long as Jaylen Brown's on, that give him a chance to win too. So
Sure.
yeah, I don't know who's going up. I ain't predicting. I'm just saying what each team needs to do if they want to win.
Now I feel you on that because like you never know because these are two well-coached teams and there's a lot of great talent. This is superstars and all-stars on both teams. And
Right.
like I said, this is a heavyweight fight, and when you start, this is what we want in the NBA, right? Like especially in these playoffs, like real competitive games, you're gonna be physical. Like I said, the refs are letting them be physical and whatnot. Of course, they gonna call fouls, but they letting them play.
But they let them play overall. Which I mean, hey, I like that they're being consistent with it. That's my if it's not a foul. I mean, whether it is or isn't a foul.
Yeah.
If you're not calling it consistently, then it's not a foul. It's just when they go, and I feel like they giving them both the same whistle. They letting them both, get physical and things like that. And I think that's cool. Let them play physical. It's playoff. These are adults. Let them do what they do. And because I don't think neither team is trying to play dirty or anything like that. So as long as you're not playing dirty and people are just playing, you just get an extra little bump here, a little hand check there. I think it's all good. So remember Zebo went up to the ref before the game. It was like, let me and him bruise it up a little bit. You get a little too out of line, call it. But let us bruise it up. We ain't tripping.
No, for sure. That's exactly what you want. Going over to the 1-4 in the East, Philly and Miami. First shot of Tyler Hero, who was awarded he got a 6-man.
Yeah, I think that was the one pretty much everybody agreed on.
Yeah. Did you see the votes? Kevin Love finished in second, but
figured Kevin Love finished in second.
He almost tripled Kevin Love vote, like overall votes.
That sounds about fair. Kevin Love deserves to be second. He deserves to be in the conversation with Tyler Hero. Should have been unanimous winner. Honestly, I don't know if we ever had a unanimous 6-man, but Tyler Hero should have been unanimous.
Really. Yeah, maybe I did.
I would have been unanimous, especially for that Miami team. Jimmy Butler missed a lot of time this year. Bam missed a lot of time this year. Kyle Lowry missed a lot of time. He was consistent. 21 points per game, I think, on the season. 20 points per game on the season. I definitely think Tyler Hero was the easy choice.
Oh no, yeah, I definitely.
I think every other award is in the debate.
Yeah,
I don't think it was six. The only thing I knew was Kevin Love should be second. I don't even know who necessarily should be third. I could probably pull the third player.
It was either Bogdan for Atlanta or Jordan Clarkson that finished third.
So
they were 3-4. I know that much.
And neither one deserved the word this year.
No, for sure.
I think Kevin Love deserved to finish second. I think it was Tyler Hero.
Shout out to Kevin Love for accepting his role.
That too. Yep. Shout out to him. Hey, he said he ain't taking no buyout, so he got to give it a roll. I respect that too. I ain't taking a buyout. Y'all can sit me or y'all can play me. What we doing? Played him. He's 6-man. Look, I know people don't like him. Kevin Love is still Kevin Love at the end of the day. He'll have a night where he'll give you 30. Like he did that this year. He had them 20-10 games off the bench because that's what he was before he fit into his team. When LeBron told him don't fit out, fit in. He fit in. He stopped it. But that's who Kevin Love was. So Kevin Love,
right? But like I said, back to the series, Miami goes up.
That should be a hot name over the summer. I think he
Kevin Love. Oh no, for sure. Kevin Love definitely looked at by some contenders. I can't think of it right now.
His deal should be up this year.
Like I said, Miami went up 1-0 against Philly. No Joel Embiid. Of course, the complaints are out there. Doc doesn't know how to coach because he doesn't want to put because he got to leave DeAndre Jordan out there because
people don't want Doc to not be able to coach so bad. Nick Nurse was gonna coach Sogers around. Now he don't know how to coach in this series. He's like,
because my thing is, of course, you have people say play Paul Reed or Bassey, or if you played them more during the season, then they have playoff experience. I don't think they'd be ready to go. I don't necessarily think that's always true. But at this point,
think he should play Paul Reed. Though.
No, he fouled. He came in fouled.
Exactly. And Bassey's not ready. If you watch Philly this year, you would know that he's not ready. That Bassey should be appreciative that he's on the playoff roster.
But it's like I think people are using Joel Embiid not being there. That's gonna save his job for one more year. He's at excuse whatever.
Joel coming back.
No, yeah, Joel.
People think he's finna miss this series. Joel will be back in Philly. He'll be back in Game 3. I guarantee you, Joel playing Game 3.
Yeah.
It has to be. He got to still be a concussion protocol, or his face has to literally
be swollen
where he can't see. He's playing in Game 3. That's why he didn't travel. He got to do the travel stress. He just straight treatment, rehab, getting it done, he's playing in game 3.
Like I said, Miami picked up a win. And it was a back and forth game through the most part. Miami really separated themselves in the latter parts of the second half. James Harden took 13 shots. Philly can't have that happen again. They expect to compete in the series.
I don't know. I disagree. That's who he's been since he's been there. He averages 14 shots a game.
Look, this is the thing.
Without Joel Embiid, I get that.
No, and even with Joel, I'm not saying he has to be 35 a night, 25 shots a night, James Harden, like he was 3-4 years ago. But you remember at one point, if we seen James Harden take 13 shots, we automatically saying, regardless of how many assists he had, he's not trying for it.
Right.
And I'm not in my bad. I don't even want to say not trying. I don't even want to say.
No, that wasn't perception. They said
I'm saying I would say he wasn't being. Let's say he wasn't being aggressive, because saying he isn't trying and saying he's.
I mean, that's what people were saying. That ain't what you say. You were saying that is what they were saying.
So just seeing him taking 13 shots attempt, I feel like James Harden hamstring. To your point, Zach Knowledge says, it might be a decline because of that, not necessarily taking care of himself in the offseason. I think James Harden shot Tobias Harris first and foremost, because he came to play at some point, finally. But he defers too much to lesser players at a point where I don't think maybe he just doesn't have it the way he can't, but he defers too much sometimes. And I feel like the offense leading on Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris without Joel Embiid in there, maybe that's a slight to Doc. Maybe that's his idea. But I don't think James Harden taking less than 15 shots without Joel Embiid out there is good for this team. Like they end up almost losing by 10 points.
They pulled away. Miami should have won easier.
They should.
But I think James. I do think James is declining. I don't think I believe I've said it a bunch of times. I think the hamstring injury has really he wasn't an athletic player already, and I'm not gonna lie, hamstring injury is what really stopped me from playing for real, because it affects all your lower extremities. So they say he doesn't work out, because I don't know how. I've seen him in the truth, but I don't know. They say he doesn't condition a lot during the summer. He plays here or there or whatever.
Because like I said, Knowledge had a word for, I can't think of the top of my head. It's basically it's like a quick form of condition where he drops that weight real quick.
Exactly. So he just played for a couple of weeks, but throughout the summer he's enjoying his summer. That word to Scottie Pippen. He's enjoying his summer. So I think the injury really did affect him, and I think if we know that, I honestly think he knows that. And I think coming to Philly, he went there with a different mindset of really playing point guard. So for me, it's not necessary. I do think he should take 15 shots at least. But I know since he's been there, he averages 14. It's not a matter of how many shots he takes. No more for me is when he takes them. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to take 15 shots, 13 shots, you can't shoot 38%. You need to shoot 40. Because if he's 10 for 13, we're having a different conversation.
Now that's a skill. Now, that's what I think the decline comes in at, because not even necessarily decline, not that ability to create those free throw attempts, because think of how many times in Houston where we will see games where James Harden goes 8 for 25, but he has 8, 9, 10, 13, 14 free throw made. 18
free throws.
I mean, you've seen those games, and then on top of 13 free throws, he hits 10 threes. Well, when you're only hitting 3 layups, 2 threes, and 2 free throws, it doesn't matter how many shots you make, because you're not making enough. You're not generating enough shot attempts anyway.
But I think this is where the Houston years have affected him, because he's lost a step, so he can't get in the paint and finish like he used to. His percentages at the rim are career lows right now.
Right.
So I think in Houston, since it was such layup or 3, James lost his mid-range game, honestly. So he doesn't have other places to generate that. Because like I'm if he shot 10 for 13, that's automatically 20 points, if it's just off twos. So that changes from 15, 9 and 5 to 29 and 5. So absolutely. The conversation is different. And I think they got what you want out of Tobias. Tobias was aggressive. You want Tobias 18 shots, 17 points. Maxey played solidly, but I think they are looking for him to score a little more. I think James has to dig into his efficiency back. He got to come out aggressive, get everybody else involved in the middle halves, and then you got to finish aggressive.
Right.
But I just think we got to change the way we're talking about James.
Okay,
I do think he should be more aggressive, but people expect it because all the conversations I hear just go back to what he did in Houston. Like he not even who he was with the Nets last year, where KD was out and he got himself in the MVP conversation.
Right.
I think he's really trying to play point guard, and the conversation needs to be more on when he's aggressive, looking aggressive, and being more efficient with his shots. Because if you are going to take 15 shots, I need you to make 9 of them. That is just that simple.
Right. And okay, I get
because he is leading in assists, so he's getting
he's doing
the league in assists.
Doing other things.
People not just getting 16, 10, and 5. So I'm not going. I feel like, and I'm defending James. Like I'm not the biggest fan of James' game, but I feel like he's not just being terrible. I just think you need to redirect how he's playing. And I don't expect him to score 30. Now if he rolling one night, obviously go for it. But I think a consistent.
I feel like his rolling now is still over 25 points though.
But if he gives you 25 and 15, I'll take it though. And if it's efficient, he got to make his shots. And, I mean, but that's your point about the decline. So,
and even with that, do you think, like I say, he's shooting like just for himself, like real low percentages at the rim? Do you think even some of that they can call it foul, but you can call it whatever you want? But as a basketball player, we would call it craftiness if it was anybody else. Do you think he's even lost some of that to where it's not like? It's one thing when you get into contact and you're not getting fouled, but you're not even setting yourself up for open layups, so you don't have to worry about getting a foul.
I feel like that extra step not only just leads you to getting more buckets, but that quick step even leads to when they give you the contact, the ref know you're beating them to the spot, so they give you the foul call. And I just think he don't got that. So because he's still getting to the line,
right? But he still gets to the paint.
He still gets to the line. He still gets to the paint, but he's not finishing the same, and he's not shooting the same amount of free. So he's still getting to the line more than the average person because that's just what he does. But he's just not finishing. So I just think he got to come out more efficient and more aggressive. Aggressive at the start. Get everybody else involved in between because you want to buy with Embiid out. You want to buy 25. So, but anybody expecting him to have 30, 35 is just not happening. Like think he could have dropped a 50-point triple-double is over with.
He never did that.
But if he's 10 for 15, 9 for 15, and them same 9 assists, he's gonna give you 5 to 10 rebounds because he can go for a triple-double any random night. I just think the conversation is even just look at how he closed out in Toronto. I think he shot 15 shots in the closeout game. But he finished with 22. He was like 9 from 15, 22 points. We got 16 assists, 8 rebounds. Y'all win. Nobody cares. So you just got to do that. But he got to be more aggressive with Joel being out because they should win both of these games. Miami, that is. And Bam did what I expected him to do. Not yet. Philly, but I thought Miami would kick their ass, honestly. They really didn't. Oladipo gave us a big game, and he gave, I don't know if we should acknowledge that he gave us a stinker or we just let it go.
We're just going to let it go. We're going to acknowledge it.
Miami, because Miami people be real cocky about, we got Oladipo, y'all don't even know what we got on the bench. And then he plays, right. and he plays, when he plays, he have a good game, and this is why they're going to win the championship. And then, gotta remember, Clay had his up and down game too. Coming back from injuries is real, except for Kevin Durant. He's the only one. He took Boston to shut him down. So, for sure.
But not looking at Mike like I said, they definitely Bam definitely took advantage all night. Nobody on the floor could check him.
Nobody. I think he should have a bigger night. Bam too. What's up with these Kentucky centers? I'm gonna just say I've been holding that
pass. DeMarcus Cousins.
I've been
post DeMarcus Cousins.
I've been holding that. I've been holding that tweet for a couple months. DeMarcus Cousins is the only one, but they just be passive. Anthony Davis, Bam.
I don't think it's necessary. It's hard to describe because Bam is definitely an aggressive player, but as far as being a scorer, but even looking at
all of them played with way better teammates than DeMarcus Cousins too. Yes, I know he played with John Wall. All of them played with way better teammates than DeMarcus Cousins.
I just think that's who a lot of for all people that's old enough, it's like Shaq talking about Georgetown centers. I don't know how we got here. I know this is what our show is, but I don't know how we talking
about Bam. Bam.
No. I'm saying like
how I feel like Bam should have a bigger game.
No, you saying
Kentucky
you calling Kentucky saying Kentucky Centers they come off as passive.
Oh, because I think Bam should have a bigger night.
No, yeah, but Shaq also kind of had. You ever heard Shaq talking about Georgetown Centers? Patrick Ewing, Lonzo, Dikembe, all.
Yeah, there's always a little something left,
Left to be desired. And that's not to say that these aren't good players.
No, they're the Hall of Famers.
No, yeah.
It took Morning had to win his championship off the bench.
Just for Shaq. No, yeah, absolutely. But just to Miami, like I said, they should have. At one point, they did get it up 10 and it kind of stayed there to Philly try to make their runs, but they really couldn't.
Was Duncan Robinson hurt?
I don't need nobody.
he sure like it on that bench the other day.
I mean, that's Eric Spoelstra. Like, I think people love it when.
No, Pat don't care because Pat agreed with it. But Duncan Robinson getting traded. He ain't playing.
At some point, he got to play. Like he's been out there. Like he's had one good game in the playoffs. But I think
3 is the first game.
But I think that goes back to a point you always make, and I think people hate it because when your team loses, it's like, why don't you extend your rotation? But in the playoffs, in the second round, ain't no more 9-10 deep. Like, okay, we can experiment and seeing who's actually gonna be. Now we're in the second round. This is a focused rotation. Nobody in the second round is gonna play more unless you have to.
He played 8.
Like nobody's playing more than 10. Nobody's playing more than 9. Might be the most. And Duncan Robinson, no matter what his contract is, shout out to him for getting paid. He's not a consistent enough offensive player, and he's not a good enough defender to be in that every night 8-man rotation in the playoffs, especially with players like Max Strus. Gabe Vincent came in, gave good minutes the other night. Tyler Hero has his minutes. They're going to work Victor Oladipo in there because he's a two-way player. But there's not going to be many minutes for Duncan Robinson, who's going to be the odd man out sometimes because he's only a shooter.
Especially if he's not shooting the lights out. Like, what got him paid? 45% from 3, 40, whatever from 3. Consistent 40 from 3. That's what got him paid. So.
No, yeah, sure. But Miami picked up. What do you want to see outside of Bam being more aggressive? Because I feel like Miami, especially offensively, always leaves something to desire. Even though they won by 14. What do you want to see Miami do to kind of come out and dominate, assure dominance, and why does it start with Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, that definitely is where I was going to go with Jimmy Butler. You got to get a better game from Jimmy Butler, honestly. Like, he's going to be locked in defensively, and I know, Jimmy does his thing with, like, facilitating and stuff.
I don't like Jimmy with facilitating.
But he's shooting terribly. It's like, this been all year.
Does he shoot terribly? Is that why he tried to facilitate?
I
feel like he passes up way too many open shots.
Yeah, to take a tough shot. Yeah. So I think
to it right. He passes to a tough shot.
Jimmy takes a lot of tough shots. I think Jimmy got to take his easier shots. I think they need to play through Bam more. They got the recipe to beat Philly, especially without Embiid. But if they stick around without Embiid, honestly, I'll be worried for when he come back. Because I ain't gonna lie, Embiid is also one of them players where if he on the court, he's gonna be effective out there. He's gonna have a good game. He's gonna have even if he's having a bad shooting game,
it's gonna be.
He finds a way to get 19 and 10.
And I think that changed the game.
Yeah, like Embiid not gonna have a bad game and have 7 points.
No, right.
Or even 12 points. He's getting.
He gonna have enough points.
Maybe 16 here or there.
But like say, he lost by 14. Like say, I know this math doesn't always matter.
Yeah,
but if like say he come in, and he does give you 19, 10 and 7, 10 and 4. Then you go from a 14-point loss to a 15-point win to a 5-point win. Excuse me. Oh, math don't be math. But like injuries always change a lot of things. Even Kyle Lowry is hurt, and that kind of changes things Miami want to do. But I think Miami, like I say, without Joel Embiid, I don't think we got to have even going to games. So Miami should do what should take
game 2. I say Kyle Lowry's not supposed to play on lead. I think James was going to shoot more efficiently. I think Tobias is going to continue to be aggressive, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Philly win game 2.
I want to see a 30-point Jimmy Butler game.
Yeah. 30-point Jimmy Butler game, Miami wins. I won't be surprised to see Philly win.
So Phoenix picks up a big first game victory despite Luka going for 45. He's first all-time in playoff scoring average. What is he second?
I know he has.
Because him and Jordan are the only 2 players that average 30.
Yeah, he's at the most points throughout this point or whatever.
Yeah.
All those point stats is Luka.
Yeah. Like I say, Phoenix picked up.
He ain't one of them. They good, but he ain't one of them.
I see somebody make a Chris Paul joke. It was after they lost. They was like, what is his pronoun must be they them because he ain't he or him. But no, Phoenix won that series anyway, and they up 1-0 in this. Like I say, Luka, they let Luka get his. I don't know if that was by design or because Luka is just him, but they limited everybody else.
They let him get. I don't think they wanted to get 45. He got 45 on 50% shoot.
But he had 45, 9, and 8. And I hate how he did it on high usage. Well, he scored 45 points with 9 assists. Duh,
Exactly.
Nerd. But anyway,
that was a mellow commercial.
But anyway, DeAndre Ayton was too much for Dallas big man. We said that coming into the series. Devin Booker played excellently. Had Luka on skates out there on one play. Apparently, Mikal Bridges is overrated now. Well, I guess after Luka go for 45, we got to keep up the overrated train. No, I'm just playing. I don't believe that. But if you're Phoenix, looking at, you got a game 1 victory despite what Luka did. Do you think Phoenix is confident enough that they can keep the role players out of this for Dallas?
I think that's what they're hoping. Especially in particular, Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie, who they both had tougher games. I think they'll play better.
Spencer Dinwiddie played like Spencer
He went back to Washington real quick. But I think Jalen Brunson in particular will play better. Yeah. But that's what they want, is to keep making it tougher on the role players and just try to make Luka do everything, as far as not even just scoring, but having to create for them to get them easier buckets, opposed to them getting easy buckets just to floor the offense or whatever. So I definitely think that's the plan. I wouldn't be comfortable letting Luka score. Like, I wouldn't mind if he scored 45 and he took 40 shots. 40, let him get 35 on 30 shots. Let him get 29 on 26 shots. 45, 30 shots.
Right. Like,
he gonna win a game like that if you playing with him.
I mean, they lost by 7, so like I say, you get one other player. This is one of the nights where Tim Hardaway had one of his crazy shooting nights. They probably win this.
Look, man, I'd be really disappointed if it doesn't happen, but I feel strongly enough to say about Luka that he is the future MVP in the NBA. He's gonna compete for some championships, and this is what those players.
You gotta stay healthy all year.
You gotta stay healthy.
You gotta come out hot. He never usually starts the season off. He finishes. He's a good fit.
Yeah.
He finished the season strong.
Like, right. Because Luka's one of those all-time players, so I wouldn't play with him because, which they have the right person on him. Mikal Bridges is long. He's gonna bother him.
Mikal, Jay Crowder, Cam Johnson.
They got enough to bother Luka and at least make it difficult for him. But at the end of the day, as good as Mikal Bridges is, we saw Luka give Paul George and Kawhi 40. So
he gave 40 last night.
We saw Luka give everybody 40 in the playoffs.
And if you're Dallas and Jason Kidd, like, there's not much. I guess get a triple double. There's not more you can expect from Luka. What do you expect to see from them to get the role players rolling against another game too?
I think more aggressive from Dinwiddie. I know he played badly, but he only took 8 shots, so get that up to 15. Maybe you get rolling here or there. And then just more efficiency from Jalen Brunson. He went 6 for 16, so you want him to play a little better to at least, because he's going against Chris Paul. Chris Paul is one of the best point guards of all time. Not the best point guard of all time. He's one of them, whatever. He's one of the best point guards of all time. So at least, you you got to go out there and be the Jalen Brunson that he's been all year, the one that people are talking about. Right. I don't expect him to average 27, but I think he can average 19. He can average 19 in this series, so don't let the Chris Paul matchup overwhelm you or whatever. So,
no, for sure.
Yeah.
Like I say, he was in foul trouble. Like I say, he had 3 fouls in the first half, so that's definitely.
And I don't think that's going to happen.
No, yeah, that's definitely a little bit overwhelmed by the matchup. Like I said, Jason Kidd, who's turned Dallas defense around this year. I think he's even turned his perception around as a coach.
Yeah, I think so.
Muncie Williams is a vet coach, like this is the moment like he's been waiting on since he was a coach in New Orleans with CP. Do you think Muncie is going to be one of them series where Muncie just kind of out strategizes as much as Phoenix might outplay Dallas?
I think he should be able to, because at the end of the day, they do have Luka, and that's major to have Luka. But at least on your side, you have 3 all-star type players, and one of them, there's no matchup for him at all on the court, which is what we said coming into the game. There's nobody for them. Even Jason Kidd acknowledged that. DeAndre Ayton goes from 25 and 8. I wouldn't be surprised to see him have a 30 and 10, 12.
Oh, right. I like 2 more rebounds.
Yeah, so I expect him to. I expect him to be double the rest of the way. So, and Monty knows how to get him the ball. He knows how to get. He knows how to put all his players in spots for the most success. So, um, Monty got a good chance to get his. Monty, if there's any coach I would want, I don't know if Phoenix is gonna win the championship this year, but I wouldn't mind if they won, even though that means Chris Paul win the championship, just so Monty could get him one. That's the only thing. Dang, Monty, you can't win this year because Chris Paul won one championship, and I gotta hear you weirdos talking about he the greatest point guard ever, like Magic Johnson don't exist, and now I don't want to hear about your weird positionless thing where Magic is playing center, power forward, small forward, or shooting guard. Magic Johnson was the point guard. He's the best point guard ever.
Well, Sports Reference has them as a shoot guard.
they wrong. So, I was watching Magic in the finals the other day. You play point guard than me.
But like I said, we got Golden State and Memphis, who's tied up at 1-1. Ja goes for
47.
Huge night, needed to win 4-point victory.
In the fourth quarter.
The series has turned out to be everything I think both sides want. This is one of those series where you got two different generations of teams, and it's like, do we see the young team go ahead and maybe start establishing their dominance, or is this where Golden State, as the veteran team, hold on and show why veterans?
It's funny you say that. Shout out to Chris Bolton. He compared this to, remember when the Warriors was trying to come up and they was running to the Spurs when they beat out the Nuggets and they played the Spurs in the second round. The game Spurs hell, the Spurs still won. So,
yeah. And that happens a lot. And it's like,
so you push him. I think it's for good friendly competition.
No, yeah, definitely.
Josh said Steph told him after game one it's gonna be a good battle. It's gonna be fun. Josh said it back to him after this game. So I think he should guard Steph, but that's okay.
I think he should guard Steph.
Yeah, I want to see players guard players. You don't duck no smoke. Remember he said they go up the chimney. Well, guard Steph.
He go up the chimney.
He said they go to that's hazardous, but guard Steph.
Nah, yeah. But
I ain't got nothing to prove. I ain't guarding him. Who are you? You guard him.
No, but what do you want to see out of Memphis in this series, just offensively and defensively?
I think Bane will play better, finding some easier buckets for Bane. Even though Ja had the big game, and I call him Ja Iverson, I don't like the idea of Ja shooting 30 shots every game. He had 30 shots game one. He took 30 in game two. He is a scorer, and this is the playoffs. So I think he can lose 5 shots. 25 is unless he going for 47 like he did last night. So shoot.
Okay, I hate to always come back here. So that means
he's not a point. I said that a couple months ago.
I ain't always take it back there, but it's like
you can let it go. That's how it goes. Ja's a point. He is a point guard. Ja's definitely a point guard. Yeah, I don't think Ja can play two. I don't think he could be a real two. You don't see him play with Tyus that much. A little bit. Not for real. Not as much as you would think to have such a good, because Tyus is really good backup point guard. So if they were gonna do it, they would really do it. They don't do it like that for real. But getting Bane more involved. Jaren Jackson. I know he's watching right now. This is what his first thing he got up today. He said, I'm gonna catch them at noon. Because I know they're gonna give me the game. Jaren Jackson Jr., you were in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. Stop getting all these fouls, bro. Move your feet.
Verticality.
Like, stop.
YMCA that.
You got to work on that in the summer because, you know what? I'm taking away from his Defensive Player of the Year claim if you feel keep fouling now. Just like I'm trying to regret agreeing with Marcus Smart because I know how much of a flopper he is, but every time he flops more, I just start thinking I can't really respect it. Stop. They need Jaren Jackson on the court because Golden State don't have nobody for him. Honestly, and I think he likes to match up with Draymond because he's bigger than Draymond. He has skills, and they both went to Michigan State. So it's like, that's always something there or whatever. Sure. So even just like friendly stuff, like we went to the same school. That's the big homie. I don't know if they know each other like that. No disrespect. You can't just be giving from big homies.
Right? No, yeah, you can't be doing that.
But they went to the same. I'm sure they crossed. I'm sure they crossed paths or whatever. So. But they need him on the court because they really don't got nothing for him. Looney won't really be able to guard him. Draymond can't guard him for real because he can go inside or outside. So they need you on the court, Jaren Jackson. Stop fouling out.
No, yeah, no facts. I ain't even have anything to add to that. But Jaren Jackson is definitely
the mismatch problem that Golden State likes to avoid because, like I said, he shoot it from the outside. He's bigger than Drake.
Yeah, game on 33.
Yeah, per game 33. Now, I mean, Draymond didn't finish that game, but yeah, he had 33 because nobody could guard him out there. Because he's gonna be physically stronger than him, Kevon Looney. He's gonna be quicker than Kevon Looney, and he's just tall. So Kevon Looney also got a bad hip.
Exactly.
And then he's just gonna be too tall for Draymond at certain points where Jaren Jackson is gonna accept that physicality where Draymond usually has an advantage. So he has to be out there. Dylan Brooks, doing your silly, terrible foul.
Terrible foul.
People have been questioning should he get suspended or not. And of course, people are asking should he get suspended because of the fact that, play ended up with GP Part 2 fracturing his elbow.
I don't think he's going to get suspended because
the flagrant 2 was definitely the right call.
Flagrant 2 was definitely the right call, but I don't think he's going to get suspended just because when they start getting into the technicalities and trying to guess his intention of trying to hurt him. Because at the end of the day, he's going to say he was just trying to make a hard foul to make him miss the shot and stuff like that. He didn't try to swipe his head. That's what he's going to say. So you can't really go to his intent to get hurt. So you really can't just start suspending players because another player got hurt as a result of the play. But
you kind of
maybe that'll start leading into some rule changes where if you get a flagrant 2, you're automatically suspended the next game. Maybe that starts happening, but then people will complain about that. So I think it's they're not going. I know everybody's going to go crazy about this on NBA Twitter. They're like, how can you even reconsider this? You got to think about the NBA as the business, not you.
Well, they do have a flagrant point system in play already.
Exactly. So
he's already got 2. Exactly. You get 2. You get another flagrant 2.
So it's already a system in play for what you have to do to get suspended. So they can't just go off the grid and suspend it because it's a bad play, but he got hurt. But Draymond got a flagrant 2 the other day.
He's
so it's like
2 points away from
exactly. So they didn't fight. He just got a flagrant 2. As ugly as it was and as terrible as it ended, it was just a flagrant 2. So I don't think they're gonna suspend him because to suspend somebody for another player getting hurt, you got to go to intent. He tried to hurt him. That's kind of where it's gonna have to go.
Right.
Or
like I say, a lot of that, Dylan Brooks is the reason Gary Payne Part 2 fell out the air because he definitely took a big
100%.
Definitely took a big swipe towards his
I would suspend him, but I don't think he's gonna get suspended.
But like I say, the end result is Gary Payne kind of trying to, people say he braced, he was trying to brace himself. Honestly, I don't think he was trying to. That's where he was at. That's where his arm was at. I think if he would have been able to think about it, maybe
if you stop pulling people out of the air, you don't have to brace them. You don't have to catch them. Stop pulling people out the air, which is why you get the flagrants because that's what they look. That's why they get flagrant too. That wouldn't have been for the people that tried. That wouldn't have been a flagrant 10 years ago either. It'd been a hard foul. It would have been a flagrant 1. They wouldn't have called it 2.
And I think, Ty, like we were talking about that the other day, like, would you swipe at somebody like that if you was? I know it's 2 different. We already said it's 2 different things.
2 different things.
But if you're at the park, you're at the gym, and you're hooping, and would you swipe at somebody like that?
And this is why you need to use the park rule. In the NBA, you're not gonna fight. You're not gonna have to defend yourself unless somebody might put their hands on you. Not too many people are. If you know that you wouldn't do it in a situation where in the end result something may happen to you, then don't do it.
Right.
I ain't gonna do it where I'm gonna get hurt. I'm
gonna do it where I get paid at.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It was bad play. But I don't think he's gonna get suspended, bro. Not do I think he should get suspended. I don't think he will get suspended. And it won't be outrageous if the NBA do it. This is why they have collective bargaining agreements, and there's already a system in play because you got to look at that side of it. It's not just what we're watching and you just make these things off emotion. That's not how it works. That's what the union is for. If they try to suspend him, that start affecting his money. The Players Association, they're gonna be mad that he made the foul. They're gonna be mad that they're trying to take his money also. So
and like I said, they're gonna bring up the point system. They got to play already.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but I am interested to see what happens.
Oh, yeah. And Dylan Brooks,
if they suspend him, the Players Association gonna be mad about it.
And Dylan Brooks is also a player they need out there because I don't think Steph made a shot while Dylan Brooks was guarding him.
Yeah.
And Dylan Brooks is also a foulsy type player. He led the league in fouls last year. I don't know if he did this past season, but
One thing they kept him from getting 5 fouls yesterday was him getting thrown out. He had 5 fouls in game one. So 4 or 5 fouls.
Like if you go to state, you lose by 4, even though John goes for his big night. How you feeling going into the next game, going home?
Golden State's feeling like they should just didn't make shots. Everybody's kind of getting on Clay or whatever, but Steph didn't make shots either or whatever. So you just feeling like my shooters didn't make shots. It hurt losing Gary Payne because GP too. Yeah, he affected Ja in game one where Ja took the same amount of shots, but it was more explosive in game two because GP wasn't out there. GP plays big, but he's a point guard himself. He's played point guard. He's athletic, so he's used to guarding that kind of player.
This was Law and Order. We would have just cracked the case with Dylan Brooks right there. He had a motive.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I think Golden State just think they didn't make shots. I wouldn't be surprised to make it easier for Clay because you can tell Steve Kerr notices it's easier when Jordan Poole is on the floor with Clay and especially since GP's out, so you probably gonna go to that. But it's easier for them, so Clay doesn't have to worry about creating for himself. Clay should strictly be catch and shoot right now.
Yeah. Definitely until he actually gets like fully there. Like I know y'all on the court, but he ain't all the way there.
And it's not even that he's not even fully there. Everybody else is at the end of the season mode. They're in, they went through their bad part of the season. Clay came back in January, so they still had 3 months on him or whatever. So I was listening to Kyrie talk about how it's hard in the league trying to play catch up while everybody else is just preparing for the next game or whatever. He is still in a lot of ways trying to play catch up, but everybody going crazy. And I know he missed some 2 free throws. Don't forget, Clay made that shot to win game one. So he needs to play. He's gonna play better. He's gonna shoot better. That's 3-time champion. Calm it down.
All right, like I said, we got Memphis Golden State tied at 1. Phoenix got a 1-0 lead. Milwaukee Boston tied at 1.
The Miami, 2 threes on both sides are really tough.
I feel like those are gonna be the best team series, whereas maybe Dallas give us some of the best individual performances. I mean, you can still say about both those, but it's superstars left everywhere except on Miami, honestly, and Philly until Joel Embiid gets back at Memphis because all their players are still really young.
Ja
superstar? No, what you say?
Nah, not yet.
Is Devin Booker a superstar?
No.
You got anything else? I don't know. I'm asking. I don't know. Like some people, I feel like some people may say yes. I feel like some people may say no. Especially
maybe winning the championship will make him become a superstar. But he's not a. He is
okay.
Like he's elite, but superstar blends past basketball. It's not just about basketball with a superstar. He's a superstar basketball performer because I've seen him drop 40 in the finals. But he ain't got a signature shoot. Luka got a signature shoot. Luka playing in Lucas. What Devin Booker playing in? Who's the superstar?
Probably Kobe's.
Who's the superstar?
But no, seriously, I think.
And the Luka ones are tough. Like I ain't seen a good pair of Jordans since Jordan. The real Jordan.
Luka's shoes, I think.
Melo's shoes.
Melo's first couple shoes.
Melo's
the first two. Okay.
The first two were tough, definitely. Some shot.
Chris Paul never had.
Chris Paul shoes were terrible. Wade shoes were terrible.
All the Team Jordan shoes.
Terrible.
But no, the superstar conversation is definitely one for another day, so we can get out of here. But I think there's so many people have different definitions of what a superstar is because, like I say, some people like you take both sides of it. You take the basketball part and the business part into it, which would determine, which does kind of determine who a superstar is. And then you have some people say, well, they say you dropped 40 in the NBA Finals, you dropped 35 on game 2 in the second round, you dropped 50 in the conference finals. So why isn't he a superstar?
Superstar performer. He gonna be all NBA this year. You got to debate it. He ain't a superstar.
You got anything else before we get out of here? No, but summertime for all the people who watching us, all our homies who like to talk basketball, maybe we'll do something, put something together, and we talk about what makes a superstar, who is a superstar. So y'all know where we at. Y'all can DM us at the Hoopers Pod on Twitter.
Is Devin Booker the reason they going to see Phoenix Suns?
It's got Chris Paul.
I think Chris Paul is a superstar compared to
now.
Yeah. Because
He's still gonna take on commercial.
once you're a superstar,
Yeah.
you're there. You don't come. You're there. Once you don't come
You
back
never
down
stop
from
being a
that superstar.
superstar.
Like you said, he's still getting commercials. Like nobody care about Chris Paul no more. He's
He
still
didn't even
getting
put that in the book here, no
commercials.
commercial.
So yeah, once
They would have got that
that,
Booker looking like.
and look, if he was a superstar, that would be the first. You think Chris Paul went to the Lakers? They would have been beating Kobe. We need you to do these commercials with Chris Paul. They ain't asking them.
Yeah, everything else. Yeah.
As always, appreciate the viewers. Shout out to Ken. You know, I gotta stay with my bucket because we the Hoopers, so gotta keep the bucket. Anywhere you find your podcast, search the Hoopers Pod, Google, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all those cool places. Shout out to the Off the Ball Network. You know, we're here every Wednesday, 12 o'clock. Off the Ball Network Facebook page, the Hoopers Twitter page, and the Hoopers YouTube page. I think we're gonna do Spaces this Friday. We supposed to be the last one. We didn't do it. I think we're gonna do some Spaces stuff. Spaces is cool on Fridays. Just talk some basketball, nothing official. Just don't come in here talking stupid. But just
Right, so you can hit us on the DM about that as well.
Yeah. Go to YouTube, Hoopers Pod on YouTube. Search the Hoopers Pod on YouTube, and that's all I got for them.
Once again, I'm Luke W. Obi-Wan World. This is Worldwide Kenobi.
There we go. Worldwide Kenobi. And May the 4th be with you, players.
All right, we out of here, y'all.
Had to remember what it was. Change